All right, good day, friends. This is Demola Awoyele. Welcome you to another life-changing episode of Leaders Arise. Always a joy and pleasure to hang out with you on this platform where we discuss on life and leadership. And I believe so strongly that today's episode of the broadcast will be a huge blessing to you. Once again, you are welcome, and I know that you would be transformed. Today, I want to push further on our ongoing series on your calling, your career, and your commitments. We have been on this for quite a number of about 3 or 4 episodes from now, where we are trying to understand the balance between calling, career, and of course, your commitment. I've done justice to calling. I've told you that God calls people into 3 basic areas: family, governance, and of course the ministry. And I've emphasized that everybody has a call, that no call is superior to another. Every call is spiritual or sacred, even though the platform may be secular. Then I said our career most of the time is only a platform for our calling. So your career is not your calling, but it's an avenue or a platform for you to fulfill your calling. So today I want to quickly talk about the commitment that you need to give to your calling and your career. And can I say this very importantly or very quickly, that you should give the right commitment to your calling and to your career. You know, some people are on either of the extremes. All right, some give all their commitment, if I may say, to their calling, and they do not give any commitment to their career. Why some spend all their lives servicing their career and doing nothing about their calling. Like, I am an apostle of balance. I always want to be in the middle. I believe that you should give the right proportion of commitment to your calling as well as your career. When I was on campus in those days, we have some campus leaders, pastors, who are so passionate about ministry and the work of God that they did little or nothing to service their academic life. So at the end of the day, the academic life they were not paying attention to became the bane for their progress and of course their success in what you call ministry. And that was on campus. I believe that the same thing applies to life after campus. Somebody might think, I'm called to be a pastor, I'm an evangelist, I'm called into this or that. Maybe you are even into politics or governance. You know, God has called you to rescue Nigeria from bad leadership and all of that. That might be your calling. And God is saying, okay, for you to do that, get a career in the political sphere, be a senator, or be a local government chairman, or be an administrator, or be somebody close to leadership in the government of your country, so that I can use you to redeem the leadership of your country. Now, as important as that is, if you must succeed in that assignment of redeeming your country from bad leadership, you need to succeed as a politician. You need to succeed as a senator. You must be a kind of senator that when you speak, people want to listen. Not because you are a child of God, not because you are born again, not because you have a calling in that sphere, but because they have seen you that you are an excellent person even in that senator position. So the same thing applies to every other sphere of endeavor. What made Daniel to bring the Lordship of Jehovah into Babylon was the fact that he was excellent at his career. He could have been carried away with a sense of calling and purpose in Babylon and neglect the place of excellence in the pursuit of his career. And that would have meant that people would not want to listen to him because he had nothing to show for his success in his career. So I want to encourage you today that you must maintain that balance. If, for example, you are a banker now, be the best in that banking industry. Yeah, because the higher you rise in your career, the better God can use you to fulfill your calling. Never forget this. Never forget this. Why does God promote people? Let me repeat what I said again. The higher you rise in your career, or the better you perform in your career, the better God can use you. Why does God promote his children in the secular, for example? God actually promotes his children in the secular because he wants to use that platform of promotion to advance his purpose. So God is not against promotion. God is not against success in career. In fact, God is more interested in your success in your career or secular engagement more than you imagine, because the more successful you are in your career pursuit, the better God can use you. Some people will not listen to you because you are a child of God. They will listen to you because you are a pastor or you are anointed. They will listen to you because you are a voice in that field. Maybe you are a surgeon, for instance, and you are the best surgeon in that hospital or in that region or in that country, or maybe in the whole of your continent, maybe in the whole wide world. People want to listen to you, not because you are a child of God, but because you are an expert at what you do. And there is nothing as wonderful as people giving you audience. And that's the way our generation has been structured. People won't give you audience because you are a child of God, as it were. But there's a power that comes, there's a force that comes from being a child of God. But understand that that force or power is not enough. There is a career excellence you have got to exude that will pave the way for you as far as your calling, the expression of your calling is important. So my encouragement for you as I begin to tidy up this edition of this episode of Leaders Arise is never to downplay on career excellence just because you know you have a calling. And number two, never to also downplay on your calling because you want to succeed in your career. It is to hold the two of them together. As you are succeeding in career, you also are succeeding or servicing your calling. Alright, so very, very important, because some people have misunderstood that. So they feel that since God has called me into ministry and you are not in the full time like myself, but has called me into this or that, then it doesn't matter how I do in my work. It does matter, because that is your testimony and that's your platform. It doesn't matter as a student, I might be failing. I know me, I'm going into ministry. When I was on campus, that was the thing I kept telling people. I said the fact that you are a pastor or a campus leader does not make you downplay on your academics. Today now, by the grace of God, the little that God used me to do academically is paving way for me. Alright, people follow me now, not just because I'm a pastor, but now this guy is learned. He didn't play truant while on campus. People invite me for meetings here and there on campuses because while I was on campus, I made the best of that season. Neither am I saying that if you didn't finish well on campus, God cannot use you. But I'm saying you will make it better or easier for God to use you when you succeed in your career or your academics. Like Smith Wigglesworth once said, God can blow and we blow through a ram's horn. But if he sees a silver trumpet, God has a lot of wisdom to abandon the ram's horn and go with the silver trumpet. I will say it for the last time. Smith Wigglesworth said, God can blow with a ram's horn. But if God sees a silver trumpet, God is wise enough to leave the ram's horn and choose the silver trumpet. It is the same God that wants to blow through those mediums or media. But he has enough sense to blow through a silver trumpet. Why? Because the silver trumpet will give God a better expression. Do you understand? So your job is to make up your mind to be the silver trumpet. Even if you are a ram's horn, God will use you at that level. But the better you refine yourself, the better you succeed at your career or your endeavor in the secular world, the easier it would be for God to actually use you. We have a lot of such examples in the Bible. Daniel was a good example. He was successful at his career. It was easier for God to use him. Apostle Paul was a very good example. He was an accomplished lawyer. I know some people will attend Paul's teaching not because he was an apostle, but because they knew him as a legal luminary there. They knew him as a voice. So they want to come and check him out. They want to listen to him because they know that this guy has some wit, as it were. And the other examples are scattered all through the Bible. Luke was a physician, a medical doctor. He succeeded at medicine, and of course, at his calling also, which we see finding expression in writing the book of Luke, writing the book of Acts, giving witnesses to the life and ministry of Jesus on earth, and detailing the act of the apostles. That was the calling side of his life, but there was a career side of his life that he never downplayed on. As I round up, let me drop this thought with you. Everyone that must be effective or that must be successful or that must fulfill purpose at this time, you must be prophetic, you must be effective, and you must be professional. Prophetic, effective, and what? Professional. In fact, God is interested in using professionals that are prophetic. You can't stand on just one leg. You must not only stand on the leg of the prophetic while leaving the professional aside, neither should you stand on the leg of the professional while leaving the prophetic aside. You must both be prophetic and professional if you hope to be effective in the discharge of God's purpose for your life. And that's my argument to you today in ensuring that you balance your career and your calling. Give them the necessary commitment that they both deserve, because both of them are going to be useful in making you become all that God has ordained you to become. This is a very brief version of the Leaders Aright broadcast. I encourage you to listen to it over and over again and get me your questions, your comments and feedbacks. We will push it further from here at the next episode. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I look forward to another great time with you. God bless you. Bye for now.